would like to welcome to the studio today Stephen Sadaka of Stephen Douglas Associates. Welcome and thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you very much.
Stephen, on behalf of the Entrepreneurs Organization, South Florida chapter, we would like to congratulate you for earning your ranking on the 2014 Inc. Fastest growing privately held companies in the United States. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How did you do that? How were you able to get such a fantastic ranking?
Well, the market has helped, okay? You know, since 2009, we place both professional people, accounting, IT, HR, sales, and marketing. And even though the unemployment rate may say it's 6% right now, the demand for accountants and IT people is probably under 1%. So there's a very strong demand from corporate America to hire these people since 2010, actually. And then you combine that with, we've been in the market for 30 years. My senior leadership, I'll put up against anyone in South Florida. So we're like the 800-pound gorilla in South Florida, and the market's helped. So that combo is really, you know, I think this is the third year in a row we've made Inc. 5000, which I think is a testament to both the market and to my team.
What is your ultimate vision for your company?
Ultimate vision for my company. Well, our game right now, we have a 3-year game. We're at 35. We'll be at 35 million in sales this year, which is actually double, more than double 2009, where we took a 35% hit. And our game right now is to be at 50 million in sales within 3 years. So about a 10 to 12% growth rate, and growing within our existing locations and our existing disciplines.
And you mentioned you've been in business for 30 years?
30 years.
What's changed during those 30 years? When you first got into the business to where it is today?
Well, when I first got into the business, I was on Brickell Avenue. And if you wanted to go take a client out to lunch in Fort Lauderdale before cell phones, it would be 3.5 hours of wasted time in the car. So that's one thing that changed. We were just getting fax machines back then. So we had to hand type resumes on a IBM Selectric typewriter. We had to courier it overnight to make sure the resume got there first the next day. There were no fax machines. There was no emails. So I think the speed at which things move compared to 30 years ago is just incredibly different.
Do you remember your first client?
I actually remember my first client who we did do work with recently, Gerson Preston, the CPA firm on Miami Beach. When I started the firm, they were actually my first client, and we recently just did work with them again after 30 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How did you establish credibility early on?
Well, you know, at the time I started the firm, I was 25, which was a little young for being in business. And I established credibility by not taking on too much work and making sure whatever I took on, I actually delivered on. So it was a 1 to 2 year process to get clients to really trust you, but it was just really one step at a time, doing a good job, coming back, and then they give you more work, and that's actually how we actually grew, because they'd give us work in other divisions, and I didn't have people that could handle that, so then I would just hire people. So we started out placing accounting people, and then we did a great job. Then they wanted to hire IT people. So I ended up hiring Steve Kalisher 22 years ago, who still runs my IT group, to handle the IT side. So just doing a good job in one area was able to have us expand into different areas with the company. So now we do IT, we do accounting, we do HR, we do sales and marketing, and we do operations, both on a full-time basis and on an interim or temporary contract basis. And what's unique about our model is we'll place people from the CFO. Matt Shore, the president of my company, places CFOs. Steve Kalisher, who heads up my IT group, places CIOs. But then we could go all the way down to senior accountants, programmers on the IT side, and then also place people on a temporary or interim basis. So that breadth of level of people, and also full-time or interim under one roof, is actually pretty unique in South Florida.
Absolutely. Of those 5 divisions, is one more challenging than the others?
There is a large shortage of people in both IT right now and accounting. So we're getting candidates now in accounting and IT that are getting 5 other offers. So the challenge right now is actually not finding the clients to hire, it's actually finding the candidates. There's a shortage of professional candidates. That's the challenge.
And with top tier talent of your baby boom generation retiring,
Yep.
what is that? Is that creating an unusually challenging environment for you?
I think what happened is 4 or 5 years ago, companies during the recession stopped both hiring and they stopped training. They cut back on both of those. So the 4 and 5 and 6 year people now, they weren't necessarily hired back then and developed back then. So there's a shortage of that talent right now. And obviously, just with the demographics of the baby boomers, there's a shortage of talent across the board on the professional side.
What do you think, what habits help make you as successful as you are?
What habits?
What habits?
What habits? Planning. All right, so I like to plan my day the night before so I actually know what I'm going to do, what's critical. Another habit I've learned only the last couple of years is being able to say no more often and making sure I'm working on the parts of the job that's the best use of my time, making sure that I have team members that can handle the stuff that I should not be handling, and saying no. So being much more focused on what's important, I think, has been a developed skill rather than just saying yes to a lot of things.
You mentioned time. How has your typical workday changed since you first started this company 30 years ago?
You know, the early morning meetings and the late night dinners, I just don't do as much. You know, I'm getting old and I really don't want to do a 7:30 breakfast anymore. So thank God I have young people, 20s, 30s, 40s, that'll do the 7:30 breakfast and could actually work all day and go out to dinner with a client. So I find like my key time during the day, I would say between 9 and 4 is just really high performance time. And I also don't necessarily entertain my clients on Friday and Saturday nights. I'm more just with my friends. So when I started out, it was like 7 days a week. My clients, I was entertaining, I was playing golf. Don't have to do that as much because, you know, we now have 200 people who work for the firm. So there are people that could do that part.
That's great. Have you ever turned down a client?
Yeah.
Why?
I actually turned a lot down recently.
What would be the reasons?
They don't appreciate my fees. They actually want us to be the best and the cheapest, and I didn't necessarily think that's a good combination. So if they don't want to pay our fees, we actually have a process that we've developed over the years, a talent acquisition solution, that actually is refined on how to hire great people in a timely manner. And there's certain things the client needs to do to have that work. They need to give us timely feedback after they interview a candidate. They need to communicate with us what they like and don't like. So if there's a client that's not communicating, not getting back to me with timely feedback, won't make offers that we consider market, then it's going to be a total waste of our time and their time, and we fire them. We fire them and we don't work with them.
What is the toughest decision you made in recent history?
Firing people, firing salespeople, or, you know, we recently closed an LA office, and it was in business. We had it open for about 2 years, and it was breaking even, but I didn't, managing LA from South Florida on a 3-hour time difference, it took up a lot of bandwidth. A lot of our offices are on the East Coast. It wasn't making money, and the decision was, how long do I give it versus cut. And it just seemed, even though we weren't losing money on it, it just seems it took up a lot of our bandwidth. And one day I just came in and I said, you know what, we just need to close the LA office. That was a tough decision because the guy who runs it is a great guy, he's ethical, great family. It just looked like it was taking up too much of our bandwidth.
Steve, I would like to make an investment in your company. I would like to give you $1 million into your company. I'd like to know how you would deploy those funds.
That's a good question. $1 million. One, I wouldn't need your $1 million right now.
You're holding out for more money.
Well, no, I wouldn't. It's interesting. We've spent the last year really updating our website and internet presence. So we invested in that, which is really complete, and we're getting a lot of traction there. So I would have said that we've done it. It might be just if we attracted some great talent as potential employees for us in other cities, I would probably use your $1 million to fund that for a year or two, so I wouldn't have to come out of my pocket.
Fair enough. If I gave you magical powers and you had the power to go back 30 years from day one of the start of your business, and you could change any decision you made, strategic direction, a hire, anything at all, what would you like to change?
I would have hired my current leadership team a lot earlier. We were a nice mom and pop size firm, 10 to 12 people for, I'd say, a good 20 years. And then brought on 8 years ago Matt Shore and Mark Viner, and we brought on Jack McCarthy on the IT contract side. And we've gone from 6 million in sales, we'll do 35 million in sales. This is in the last 7 years, 8 years. I would have brought them on sooner. And I also would have gotten rid of unproductive people sooner, as opposed to letting them stay around.
Same magical powers.
Does that come under magical powers, or is that more like foresight?
Here comes a foresight question.
Okay.
I'm handing you a crystal ball.
Crystal ball.
Look in it and tell me how the business climate will change and affect your business over the next 5 years.
My concern, when I look ahead, I wonder what technology is going to do to get people hired. That's the thing that actually keeps me up at night. There are so many disruptive technologies out there. You look what Uber's doing to the taxi business. I'm wondering, is there going to be a magic database or technology or crowdsourcing that's going to be able to supplant us? Because companies right now are investing a lot in their accounting, IT, and talent. So I know the demand for talent's there. I'm just wondering, is there a disruptive technology that's going to put us out of business? That's what I'd like to see, the crystal ball. If I had a crystal ball, that's what I'd like to know. Does that answer your question?
It does. Fantastic answer. What one word describes you as an entrepreneur?
Optimistic.
Fair enough. If you were looking for guidance or you wanted to brainstorm an idea, who would you go to?
I'd go to my team. So Matt Shore, Mark Viner. Go to my wife, my team, and then depending on the field, I have a nice circle of people I've developed over the years, someone who might have expertise in that area.
Who inspires you?
Entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs who, every day are creating something from nothing.
Excellent.
By the way, also good salespeople inspire me. Salespeople can't ever rest on their laurels. And it's like every day they come in, they may have a disappointment and they keep going. Good salespeople inspire me.
Tenacity.
Tenacity. Now they talk a lot about grit, right? Grit is the ability to take a hit and keep going.
Sure.
That inspires me.
Steve, great leaders are always learning. What is the best source of your knowledge?
I actually, similar to EO, once a quarter I do a course put on for entrepreneurs called Strategic Coach. That's based out of Toronto and Chicago. And I've been doing it for about 8 years. And it's CEOs or entrepreneurs of companies and working on tools to how to increase productivity, how to enjoy your job and make more money and have plenty of free time, which are 3 nice combos.
It's fantastic.
Make more money, have free time, and enjoy it. And they talk about if you're doing that, why do you ever think about retiring?
Of course. course, the trifecta. How does your company make a mark within your industry?
I think we're just known as doing a really good job for our clients. So if you ask our competitors, they know we're a formidable competitor, that if we're handling a search, we're going to come through. So,
what is the coolest experience you've either professionally or personally ever had?
Having my daughter get married this year.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Looking back your 30-year career, what was the singular most boldest move you've ever done?
I think it's actually starting the firm when I was 25. I had my grandfather lived with us. He worked for the post office for 30 years. And I remember talking to him about going to start my own firm, and he goes, well, you're not going to have any benefits. So it was that move of going from a family of long-term employees to taking a risk and actually starting my own firm at 25. I think that was the boldest move.
In what ways do you develop trust and respect with your team?
Being upfront with them, obviously, right?
Of course.
Letting them know, there's sometimes it's actually all about me. And it's like, I want you to do this for me, not trying to make it like it's for them. So being upfront and honest with my team. And also, all the leaders of our firm, all the division leaders, are also accountable for bringing in business for the team. So we don't want to just provide office space for our team members. We actually want them to get value out of being part of our team. So one of my responsibilities is to bring in searches and clients from my wealth management team. And then Matt will bring in searches for his accounting and finance team. So I think they see the value of working with us and that we're upfront. And they also do know that we always try to do right for the client. So it's not like we're trying to cut corners with clients. I think that would build cynicism on your team.
Sure. Stephen Douglas Associates goes away today, in a nice way. Tomorrow morning you're going to wake up, and what kind of business, I would like to know, would you start tomorrow?
I like the business I'm in right now.
Excellent, excellent. Steve, it has been an absolute pleasure having you with us today in the studio. Again, on behalf of EO South Florida, congratulations on your ranking with Inc. And thank you so much for helping to encourage entrepreneurship in the South Florida market. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.